Benetton winning a sure display as they win in South Africa. My name's Mark, let's talk rugby. The Lions actually started this one with plenty of early possession, close to that Benetton 22 as well, but they just can't break down a very solid Benetton defence. They do though actually open the scoring when Benetton come forward for the first time. Pretorius gets over the ball to win a penalty. Then Walhooter slots from inside of his own half to make it 3-0. Then almost from the kickoff, Landsberg losing an up and under, and it bounces up into the grateful hands of Jacob Amaga, and he goes over under post, converts his own try, 7-3, and Benetton lead. From here then, high tackle on Odogwu, Benetton kicked the penalty right into the corner. They go to the maul, making a little bit of progress, but it's slow, so they decide they're going to move it. Rex carries well, and then they shift it to the other side of the field, and Mendy goes over to the corner. Conversion missed, 12 points to 3. The Lions, they haven't, up to this point, I think they'd only lost once at home, and already you're thinking there's a danger of them shipping another home defeat in this one. And shortly after that second try from Benetton, they actually lose captain Frankie Horn to injury too, and they, after that, they really didn't look like they had any leadership on the field. Benetton come forward again. Pretorius off feet at the ruck, and Amaga calls it a tee and makes it 15 points to 3. Benetton then go up the line from another penalty. They put it through the hands. Odogwu breaks the line, and then he puts Marine over to score, converted from the touchline for 22-3. Lions then go to the corner from penalty, set up the maul. They roll around the Benetton defence and over the line. Venter to score, converted with 22 points to 10. Looking like, a little bit of response coming from them at that stage. Lions then have a chance from a turnover, but Venter's pass just goes into touch. And again, just that little bit of composure lacking, I think, from the Lions in a lot of instances. And you felt like if that had gone to hand, good chance of a try. Volhooter then offside, and Amaga kicks to the post from halfway, but he's off target. And then Fabretti gets over the ball and wins a penalty. Amaga has another chance from a similar position. He lands it this time for 25 points to 10. Lions then looking to spark something before the break, but Benetton turned the ball over, and Mendy just kind of picks a lovely angle, like 45-degree angle, cuts through the defence. The cover can't get to him, and he goes over under the post for the bonus point try, converted for 32 points to 10. We then have a Timo check right on the hooter. It's a speculative kick over the top into the goal area from the Lions. There are 3 Benetton players there, but Lowe gets like the slightest of pressure to ground the ball. He's not offside as well. They check that, and doesn't matter how much pressure he got. If they say it's downward pressure, then they all count. As I say, converted for 32 points to 17 at half time. Benetton stretched their lead then early in the second half. Brex claims a high kick close to the Lions 22. Garbisi then gets in behind. He puts Rutsa over to score. Amaga converts for 39 points to 17. Rutsa then gets a yellow card for a deliberate knock-on. Lions win a penalty into 22 for a tackle off the ball by Amaga. They kick to the corner, go through the phases close to the line, but Menoncello gets over the ball to win a penalty. That guy, himself and Brex, actually 2 of them, really good in the centres in terms of, their breakdown work. Remind me of kind of, Brian O'Driscoll back in the day, that kind of, centre, low centre of gravity and really stable base and really competitive at the breakdown as well. We then have a team review for head-on-head contact by Male on Van den Berg. Yellow card for him. Benetton with 2 in the bin for a few minutes now. They from here, I think, the Lions, they recycle a few times, but they're always staying on the left side of the pitch. There's tons of space over on the right, and by the time they ever move it out there, that they've given Benetton time to kind of reload the defence. But staying on the left and then low inexplicably just puts a kick in behind because nobody is looking to the right. They're just thinking, we're not going anywhere here over on the left. Let's try something. And it just trickles out. There was no penalty advantage or anything. Lions then come again and they're rushing it and they knock on, and just lots of errors from the Lions today. Benetton win a scrum penalty with Brex on the flank. They were on top of the scrum all day, even with players in the bin. They then set up a drop goal attempt for Umaga. That comes off the uprights, and then the Lions are able to clear. After that, then we have a Timo check for a no-arms tackle by Zoloki. He goes to the bin. Benetton, they just got back to 14, and then he goes off, and then Roots had just come back on, and then they get back up to 14 not long after that again. But Lions go to the corner. Benetton steal the line out. They do ground the ball over the own line, so it's a 5 minutes scrum to the Lions. Finally, then Van der Merwe goes over in the corner, and nice step inside Umaga from him as well to finish, convert for 39 points to 24. Benetton then win another scrum penalty, and Umaga pops it over for 42 points to 24. And they're only a minute, or what was it, 4 or 5 minutes away from actually being back to 15, having gone like 13, 14, 13, and then back with the 14 over the last kind of 15 minutes or so. Then the Lions get over for their bonus point try just before the end through Pretorius, convert from 42 points to 31, and then that was our final score. Great win for Benetton. We're going to look at the stats and then we'll chat quickly about each of the teams. So let me pull the stats up here on the official site. Okay, so attacking 4 tries to 5, so both teams getting try bonus points out of the game. Possession 62% to 38, so Benetton dominating the scoreboard, but less than 40% of possession, so brilliant from them. Clean break 6 to 8, and this is a very telling stat. Defenders beaten 31 for the Lions for only 6 clean breaks, so that's like 5-to-1 conversion rate. Benetton, 8 defenders beaten for 8 clean breaks. So anytime they beat someone, that was it. They were through. Like, that's how poor the Lions, defensive line was. Once it was broken, there was no scramble at all from them. And you can tell by the kind of tries that Benetton scored as well. Offloads 15-7, so the Lions winning that. But let me tell you, those offloads some of them were absolutely atrocious. There were times in the game where Lions had actually, looking for a bit of momentum. They break the line. They get up into the Benetton half. Then we have an offload to no one. And then that's claimed. And then another offload to no one. They end up like back behind their own 10-meter line. Like after these stupid offloads. Like some of them, absolutely ridiculous. Like, there were times where, everything seemed like they were doing things just completely at the wrong time, offloading when they should have held onto the ball, holding onto the ball when maybe offloads are on, that kind of thing, kicking when they shouldn't, and then holding onto the ball and trying to run it when they should be kicking. Just the whole game, like, it was just, poor decisions from them. But they're a young team, so are Benetton, in fairness, but, there is, at times when this Lions team play well, they look really good. But not today. Onto defense then, territory 64-36. So even more, in the Lions' favor on that one, but it didn't matter. Number of tackles 56-118. Missed tackles 8-31. Tackle success 79% for the Lions. It's not brilliant, honestly, for URC. You expect to be somewhere in the 80s. But then Benetton even worse, 72% for them. So not great for them. But again, their scramble was good because the Lions, only got 8 they only got like 6 clean breaks, or was it even 5? It was 6 clean breaks, right? Yeah, 6 clean breaks, having beaten 31 of their players. So, scramble very good for them. Turners 1, then 4 for the Lions, 8 for Benetton. So Benetton coming out on top there. Kicks retained 2 each. Penalties conceded 11 for the Lions, 10 for Benetton. So neither team was squeaky clean. Benetton with 3 yellow cards as well in the game, but Lions really didn't take advantage of those periods where they had more men. Then onto individual players. So tries, 1 for Venter, 2 for Mendy. No real chance, honestly, for Mendy to get his hat-trick. Like his score, his second try was basically the last time Benetton threatened the line, honestly. Successful carries then. Landsberg with 6 for the Lions and Mendy with 6 for Benetton. Clean breaks, Venter with 1 to Mendy's 2. Then the defenders beaten Pretorius with 6 and Mendy with 3. And in meters, Venter 64 and Marine with 56. Offloads, Jonker with 3 and Lorenzo Canone with 2 for Benetton. Onto then the defensive side for the players. Pretorius with 9 tackles. Lorenzo Canone with 12. So, he's getting in there in terms of his offloads, but also, doing his core job as well, making his tackles. Turnovers 1 then. Cuoma with 1 and then Rutza with 2 for Benetton. So a busy afternoon for him. He got a try, 2 turnovers and also a yellow card as well for him. Okay, so let's talk about the teams. The Lions first up. They find themselves behind fairly early on, and a bit of a mountain to climb, and never really even got into the foothills, honestly, in terms of coming back, even though in the end they lose by 11 points, but you never saw, like the commentary were talking about, maybe they can get 3 tries in the last 3 minutes. It's like, that's not going to happen. Not the way the Lions are playing. Like, they were lucky they got 1, honestly, in those last 3 minutes. But yeah, not a great, performance from them, especially given, this season, the good parts of the season, for the most part, have come at home. So to lose this in a home as well, for me, I think, obviously mathematically it's still possible to make the playoffs, but for me, I think that's their playoff chances gone. Honestly, I don't see them, they probably have to win the 3 remaining games to make the playoffs at this stage, because they were beginning to come a little bit adrift at the bottom of that kind of train of teams, like just above Zebre. I think they were 3 points behind the team above them, so even like a try bonus point at this is not going to be enough for them, because that that position, I think they had 8 points to make up in the table to make the playoffs. I think, no, it was it 36? So I think it's 6 points to make up, but now it's going to be, 7 or 8 to make up over 3 games. I don't think that's going to happen, honestly. There's too many teams close together. If the team they're chasing lose, like, the team that beat them are going to leapfrog that team anyway, and the Lions aren't going to be able to make up the ground. So I think, yeah, their playoff chance is probably gone. It's a pity, because I want to see the Lions doing well, because out of all the South African teams, they're the one team that haven't really produced anything in the URC or in Europe, and I'd like to see that change for them. So hopefully, though, next season we're going to see better from them, because there definitely is a good core in this young team from them. On to Benetton then. Real statement from Benetton. They got ahead early, and then they never gave it up, and they took the chances really well. They were patient. They waited for the Lions to make a mistake, and then straight away they capitalized on it as well. Really solid in the scrum, decent in the line out as well. Defense looked good for the most part, and yeah, just to be able to go down to South Africa, and it wasn't a fluky win or a lucky win or anything like that. To be able to just produce that kind of win, a very assured performance from them, and that's bodes well for them as well, because they were like I think they were 8, or they were certainly around there. It looks like this win probably it's on its own not going to be enough to get them to playoffs, but I think they're going to get enough points in their last 3 games to mean that this win will almost certainly mean that they're actually in the top 8 again this season, which means more Champions Cup. They've got the playoffs as well, and they'll be a tough team in the playoffs too. Being able to go away and perform like this now, very different to the Benetton of kind of 4 or 5 years ago. They've progressed year on year. We can see it again here from them as well. So excellent win for them. Disappointing for the Lions, but I think they, in terms of the performance, they got what they deserved out of the game, and maybe the bonus point was a little more than they deserved, given how poor they were. But a decent game of rugby overall. And yeah, that's it from me. So let me know what you think down in the comments.